Imagine being in a cave, hiding for your life. Outside, men with swords are searching for you. Your enemies have offered a massive bounty, 100 camels, for your capture, dead or alive. The men searching are so close you can hear their footsteps. And the person with you, he is the most wanted man in Arabia. This actually happened. And the man hiding with the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah send his blessings and peace upon him. In that cave was Abu Bakr as-Siddeeq, may Allah be pleased with him. This is the story of one of history's most dramatic escape. The dark days before the Hijrah. By the 13th year of prophethood, life for Muslims in Makkah had become unbearable. The Quraysh's persecution had intensified. They had boycotted the Muslims, starved them, tortured them. The Prophet's beloved wife, Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, had passed away. His protective uncle Abu Talib had died. The year of sorrow, as it was called. Then came permission from Allah for something new, migration to Medina. Groups of Muslims started leaving quietly, in small numbers, so as not to attract attention. But here's what's remarkable. Abu Bakr asked the Prophet, may Allah send his blessings and peace upon him, for permission to migrate. And the Prophet told him, don't be hasty, perhaps Allah will give you a companion. Abu Bakr understood immediately, his heart filled with hope. Could the Prophet mean himself? From that moment, Abu Bakr began preparing, not for himself alone, but for two. The preparation of a true companion. Now let us pay attention to this detail because it shows us Abu Bakr's character and his certainty in Allah's planning. Abu Bakr prepared 2 strong camels and kept them ready in his courtyard, feeding and caring for them in anticipation of the migration. Although he did not know when the Hijrah would occur, nor did he have confirmed assurance that he would be the Prophet's companion, he prepared with full conviction and hope, trusting that if Allah willed it, he would be ready. Can you imagine keeping that level of readiness? Maintaining those camels, spending money on them, all on hope and faith? The plot to kill the Prophet. Meanwhile, the Quraysh were plotting. They knew Muslims were leaving for Madinah. They knew their influence was weakening. So they held a council at Dar an-Nadwa and came up with a sinister plan. They would select 1 young man from each tribe. All of them would attack the Prophet together, each striking 1 blow. This way his blood would be on all the tribes, and his clan, Banu Hashim, couldn't seek revenge against all of Quraysh. They thought it was the perfect murder plot, but Allah had other plans. Malakul Jibril came to the Prophet that very night and told him, do not sleep in your bed tonight. The command to migrate had come, and it had come urgently. The night that changed everything. Let us picture this scene. The Prophet came to Abu Bakr's house in the middle of the afternoon, an unusual time. Abu Bakr was resting. When he saw the Prophet, covered and disguised, he immediately knew something momentous was happening. I have been given permission to migrate. The companionship, O Messenger of Allah, the companionship. The Messenger of Allah informed him that he would be his companion on the journey. His daughter Aisha, telling this story later, said, I never saw anyone cry from happiness until I saw Abu Bakr cry that day. Think about what this meant. Abu Bakr was wealthy, comfortable, respected in Makkah. He had children and family, and he was being asked to leave everything to travel across dangerous desert. And he wept with joy at the honor of being the Prophet's companion. The escape plan? Now the preparations began in earnest. The Prophet told Abu Bakr, I will come to you tonight, so prepare. Abu Bakr had been keeping those 2 camels ready. He offered the better one to the Prophet, but the Prophet, in his humility and fairness, refused to take it as a gift. He insisted on paying for it. Even in flight for his life, he maintained perfect character. They planned the route carefully. Instead of going north to Medina directly, which the Quraysh would expect and monitor, they would go south first, toward Yemen, then to a cave. They would hide there until the initial search cooled down. Abu Bakr's son, Abdullah, would spend the days in Makkah listening to what the Quraysh were planning, then come to the cave at night to inform them. His daughter Asma would bring food. And a shepherd named Amir ibn Fuhaira would bring his flock near the cave, both to provide milk and to cover the tracks of anyone approaching. It was a brilliant plan. But it required something else, absolute trust in Allah. In the night of the Hijrah. That night, as the assassins surrounded the Prophet's house, Allah caused them to fall asleep. The Prophet left Ali ibn Abi Talib sleeping in his bed, covered in his cloak, to make the assassins think he was still there. He walked right past them, threw dust in their direction, and recited from Surah Yasin. And we have put a barrier before them and a barrier behind them, and we have covered them, so they do not see. None of them saw him while leaving. He went to Abu Bakr's house. They left together in the darkness, heading south toward the cave. The 3 days in the cave. Now we come to one of the most powerful scenes in Islamic history. They reached the cave and entered. Abu Bakr, in his care for the Prophet, entered first. Why? To check for any snakes or dangerous creatures. He found holes in the cave and tore pieces from his garment to block them. One hole remained. Abu Bakr put his foot over it. They stayed there 3 days and nights. Outside, the Quraysh were going furious searching for them. They had announced a reward of 100 camels for anyone who brought them Muhammad, dead or alive. Trackers were following footprints. Horsemen were everywhere. On the third day, some of these searchers reached the very mouth of the cave. Abu Bakr later described this moment. I looked down and saw the feet of the polytheists right above us. I said, O Messenger of Allah, if one of them were to look down at his feet, he would see us. Imagine the fear. You're hiding in a cave. Armed men who want to kill you are standing right at the entrance. Your children, your companions, your entire mission, everything depends on not being discovered. The Prophet's response is immortalized in the Quran. Do not be sad. Truly Allah is with us. And according to some narrations, Abu Bakr saw the Prophet smiling. At that moment of maximum danger, the Prophet was smiling. That's the level of certainty in Allah's protection. Some narrations mention that a spider wove its web across the cave entrance, and a dove nested there, making it look like no one had entered recently. But whether we take these narrations literally or not, the fact remains, those searchers turned away. Allah blinded them to what was right in front of them. The companions fear, but not for himself. Here's something profound. Abu Bakr was afraid in that cave. But analyze what he was afraid of. He didn't say, if they find us, they'll kill us. He said, if they find us, they'll kill you. His fear wasn't for himself. It was for the Prophet. It was for the message. It was for Islam. This is the difference between ordinary fear and the concern of a true believer. Abu Bakr would gladly have died, but he couldn't bear the thought of harm coming to the Prophet or the mission being cut short. A verse for all time. Allah honored this moment by revealing it in the Quran. The second of the two, when the two of them were in the cave, when he said to his companion, do not be sad, truly Allah is with us. So Allah sent down His tranquility upon him. Quran 9:40. The second of the two. This became Abu Bakr's eternal title. The scholars are unanimous. This verse refers to Abu Bakr and it will be recited until the Day of Judgment. Imagine, your moment of companionship with the Prophet, your moment of fear and faith becomes part of the eternal Quran. People in prayer 5 times a day until the end of time will pass by this verse and remember you. The journey continues. After 3 days, when the search intensity decreased, they left the cave. Their guide, Abdullah ibn Uraqid, led them by secret paths toward Medina. The journey was dangerous. At one point, a man named Suraka ibn Malik tried to capture them for the reward. He chased them on horseback, but every time he got close, his horse's legs would sink into the ground. Finally terrified, Suraka begged for mercy and turned back. The Prophet told him, how would you feel wearing the bangles of the Persian emperor? A prophecy that came true years later when Persia was conquered during Umar's caliphate. Throughout this journey, Abu Bakr showed incredible care for the Prophet. When they walked, he would sometimes walk ahead, sometimes behind, constantly switching positions. When asked why, he explained, I remember those who might pursue from behind, so I walk behind you. Then I remember those who might ambush from ahead, so I walk in front of you. Such was his love and vigilance. The welcome in Medina. After some days of difficult travel, they finally saw the outskirts of Medina. The Muslims of Medina had been waiting, coming out every day to watch for them. When they finally arrived, the entire city erupted in joy. Young girls came out singing, the full moon has risen over us. The Prophet was here. Islam had found a new home, and through it all by his side had been Abu Bakr as-Siddeeq, the second of the two. Lessons from the cave. What can we learn from this story? First, preparation meets faith. Abu Bakr prepared those camels for some months, but he also trusted in Allah's plan. Second, true companionship means putting your companion's safety above your own. Third, in the darkest moments, when danger is closest, Allah's help is also nearest. Truly Allah is with us wasn't just words, it was reality. And finally, honor comes through service. Abu Bakr didn't demand to be the companion. He prepared, he hoped, he served, and Allah honored him with a station mentioned in the Quran forever. In our next episode, we'll see how Abu Bakr stood firm when the Prophet died and the entire Muslim community was shaken to its core. We'll witness how he became the first Khalifa and held the Ummah together in its most vulnerable moment. Until then, remember, do not be sad. Truly Allah is with us.